Hi there. I'm Selma Jacinto Domingos, your host. I'm an author, an inspirational speaker, leadership educator, and empowerment coach. Welcome to Selma Success TV to empower you to change your life for the better. Before we get started, I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to listen and invest in yourself. And I will really appreciate if you subscribe and share our channel. So thank you so much, my friend. So today we will talk about 5 steps entrepreneurs use to find and keep the best talents. And I have my special guest here, my friend Stephanie Camarillo, a successful business owner and a speaker. Stephanie, would you like to tell more about yourself, what you do, what kind of business you have, and your speaking engagements?
Sure. Thank you, Selma. It is great to be here. What a wonderful podcast and a great message that you are sharing. Yes, my name is Stephanie Camarillo. I've owned a residential house cleaning company for almost 20 years. And it turns out that that company has been just a journey, not only of building a successful business, but really of learning a lot about what it takes to empower people as a business owner, and in doing so, how we can empower ourselves. So now I've co-written a book, and I speak to audiences on employee empowerment, but also on leadership and how we can really utilize our businesses as entrepreneurs to change the world. So it's great to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Stefan. That's very impressive. Really, just amazing. And that's will take us to our first question. Like on your own experience, we know that now hiring talent people, it's kind of it's a challenge for business owner. And sometimes we have people with their beautiful resume, but how do you uncover like the true talent from beyond just the candidate qualified papers, beyond what you see on the papers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And cracking the code on that is gold because it's really insane that it's sort of like, would you expect somebody to get married to a person after
Yeah.
a 15-minute interview? No, but yet we expect to be able to hire lasting long-term employees on just a few minutes, and it's truly not possible. But I think you're setting yourself up for a lot more success
Mhm.
when you begin to look at what's below that skill set. I remember early on in my career, I would get this is now we own a business with kind of more a labor force, blue collar
Mhm.
workers, but I did a lot of work in the past with white collar workers, and I would get resumes from with people who had graduated from institutions like Harvard, and they would
Mhm.
come in, and they would think that, and they were, I mean, they'd achieved a
Yeah,
lot by going to
yeah.
such a great institution,
Mhm.
but there was that disconnect between their experience and the job, and they weren't able to read that
Wow.
correctly. And I learned early on that it was so much more important to look at the person rather
Yeah.
than the resume. And so what we do, and I can talk about this a little bit more, but
Mhm.
our whole process, both in employing people and then in bringing them and onboarding them, getting them to work with
Yeah.
the company successfully, is all about understanding who they are, what motivates them, and that's really what it is. We start with trying to identify what's their, we call it, what's their dream, what's their
Yeah.
why,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
motivates these folks to get out of bed every day. And for us, we own a house cleaning company, and we employ a lot of single moms.
Mhm.
um, and if we're in an interview and we understand that they're going to work so that they can take care, feed their children so that their
Yeah.
children can have a successful life, and they're dedicated to that,
Mhm.
boy, in almost 20 years of experience,
Yeah.
It doesn't get much better than that. So we can train, we can build skill sets,
Mhm.
but we can't change people's underlying motivation per se. And so that's what we're really looking for um, early on in an interview, and then try to cultivate that throughout the process of being with us.
Wow, that's a very interesting, and just the way how you say it's so can be like a lot of challenge even for the employer side, because as you told, it's like you are trying to marry someone in like for 5 minutes, you just met this candidate and you don't know all their history, and just to figure out that maybe it's am I sure that this is the right person for this kind of job? It's just a big challenge. It's really, and this make me also think, how do you build like connection, from the person experience, and just from going beyond the demographic, or how do you attract this candidate that will also help you build the connection. They have that kind of like, you know, help you build your business as a business owner, and at the same time build this relationship that will help you, not just the person, because it's very important to know the why of the person, but it's also important to know how you can build that person and help you grow your business. What's your
Hmm.
experience like on this?
Ah, so you know what? I love this story because I mentioned that we're trying to get to their why, but
Yeah.
so this was a
Mhm.
number of years ago, and this is at a point, all of us as entrepreneurs, I'm sure you can relate to this too, but we get to that point in our business where we're like, you know what, I've had it. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
happened to me one day. I was driving to work, and it was our day for our regular staff meeting, our weekly staff meeting, and I'm leading the staff meeting, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to be here. Why did I get this business in the first place? And
Yeah.
so I get to the staff meeting, and I look down, next to me, and I see this little piece of paper, and I ask our employees, I say, we're going to do something different today, and I want you all to write down just one thing that is important to you. What is a goal or a dream,
Mhm.
something that's, maybe not even related to this business, but that gets you up every morning. And so they did. They wrote those down, and then we went around and they read their papers out loud, and they started to say things like, I want to buy a home. I want to pay for a home. These are
I
house
love
cleaners.
that.
I want to travel the world. I want to see my kids grow and succeed. And as they were reading, I just
Yeah.
started to like lean in, and I thought, you know what? This I've been seeing things the wrong way. It's like this light bulb went off, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've been seeing these folks as employees, and they're really people. They are people with a purpose, with a driving why that's really important. Excuse me. And what if through this business we could help them achieve
Actually,
those goals that
yeah.
they want, and so we set aside we after that, after that time, I actually took all those little pieces of paper and I put them in this beautiful metal box, and I set it next to my bed. True story. And so I could wake up every morning and I could just think about, okay, how can we, through this business, help them achieve these dreams? So that set us kind of on this whole journey of rethinking the way that we built our culture, rethinking the way that we built our benefit programs
Mhm.
around the dreams that were important to them. And a lot of people will say, well, you got to focus on the customer. And you do
Mhm.
have to focus on the customer. But in my years of experience, I
Yeah.
have found that if your people are happy, if they're living in their purpose, and if they can connect that purpose
Mm.
with the job that they're doing, and they can see a path to how they can achieve
Yeah.
it, boy, your customers are going to be better taken care of than, than anybody else.
Yeah, I
Because,
agree.
yeah. So anyway.
Wow, wow, Stephanie. This is one of the things that really has, like, as a business owner, sometimes we forget. It's like to see our employees, has a people that has a dream, because if you can help them achieve their dreams, they can help you achieve yours. It just so simple, but at the same time so challenge. And we hear a lot of business, complain, I don't have the right stuff, and the people is always giving up, and I'm always changing employees. I don't know how, to really keep with my business because I don't have people. And sometimes we as a business owner, we forgot that we need people and our customers need people. But in order to have the right people, we really need to understand that they are also people. They have dreams, they have
Absolutely.
family, they
Yeah.
feel in love, they sometimes they don't feel happy. And this also make you think like my other question, like how from this, I think you already mentioned a little bit, but they just came here a little bit into my mind. How can you create like a strong company culture, that keeping attracting and the right candidate and keep engaging, your
Mhm.
team? And maybe you already said something, with your story, but I just want to point a little bit more on this.
Yeah, so that's great. And so what we've done then, so we start with those dreams, and then I started to look at themes. And I think all organizations, because we're attracting sort of, they're not, we have diverse workforces, but
Yeah.
there are certain themes that at least we see across organizations that we work with when we
Mhm.
look at what are their underlying motivating, you know, goals, dreams. There are a couple of themes that tend to emerge. In our business, our employees wanted financial security, right? These are
Mhm.
single
Mhm.
moms who were living paycheck to paycheck and didn't see a future for their families financially. So they wanted financial security. The second thing that they wanted was time with their family. So
Mhm.
these are two big things: financial security and time with their family. So then, as a business, and they're going to be different, right? They're going to be different for your business.
Yeah.
They're going to be different for the others that are listening here. But it's identifying what those core themes are,
Mhm.
and then kind of building programs that support that. So, for instance, our benefits programs then are really focused on building financial literacy
Yeah.
and financial support for them. So,
Mhm.
instead of thinking kind of top down, okay, we're going to get a fancy 401k and we're going to, this and that, we started to look at every single program designed with them in mind.
Mhm.
Do and so for our employees, we offer them unlimited primary health care for
Yeah.
themselves and their families. This health program we have also gives them free counseling
Mhm.
and medication at extremely reduced cost that helps them save their money from, they're not going to the emergency room or whatever. We bring in financial counselors who help them learn about how how debt works, how to get out of debt, how to build your credit score, how to set aside an emergency fund, and kind of builds them through that process to even saving for big things like buying a home for your kids' college, etc. We changed our work schedule so that they could get off earlier. We started earlier so they could get off earlier so they could be home with their families, because that was their,
Mhm.
that was an underlying theme. And so when you do this, you start to, there's like a, we often we compartmentalize so much. We think of the employee and the business and their personal life. But when you start to look at things in a more integrated way, you're designing kind of the seamless flow that integrates these people into your business and into their own lives. And by doing that, you're helping them be happier people, but you're also increasing retention. They're going to be happier serving your customers. And you're really, I mean, for me, the biggest motivation is you're creating generational change. You're creating healthy, productive community members who are passing those values onto their kids, and there's a huge ripple effect.
And Stephanie, can we say that, like for example, when business owners, like they are looking for the right retention strategy, the right recruitment strategy, can we say that instead of you as a business owner, like thinking just on the paper side, okay, we look this and that, can we say that the first thing that you really should think is first, what is the why of the person that is, applying for the job at your company, has a retention strategy and also has a recruiting strategy?
Absolutely. No, I think that's so true. And this is kind of taking the conversation a little bit, but you had mentioned that when we do that, we're also kind of serving our own why, right? I mean, for me, and as a business owner, being able to do this, to see this and build this in our people, it started to really be a catalyst for me on my own personal journey of why I was doing what I was doing, because I did feel stuck. I was like, why did I had a big fancy corporate job, and then we bought a house cleaning company. I was like, what am I
Yeah.
doing here? But by listening to their why and thinking about my why, all of a sudden it all started to become clear. And for me, even I saw this beautiful metaphor in our business. We own this cleaning company, and cleaning is, we all need to feel clean. We need to feel, so I started
Yeah.
to think about, what? We're cleaning up. We're doing this hard, beautiful, transformative work. And it just made me feel proud rather
Yeah.
than embarrassed of owning a cleaning company. I'm like, I'm really proud of that now.
And I agree with you, Stephanie, 100%. I also used to own a company,
I know
and
you did. Yeah.
yes, and most of my clients, it was really make them feel special, make them feel good. Because when you think like that you are not just, serving your own client, but you're also serving your own purpose and making people feel great, making your
Hmm.
clients feel lovely, make your client understand that the cleanings goes beyond the material, goes beyond just cleaning the floor. It's actually also cleaning our own mind and our own heart. Because when you leave your house with the purpose that you are helping this client get their house clean, because they need also to have their minds in peace. That's like, oh wow, this is beautiful. My clients used to tell me, oh Selma, when you leave my house, I just feel better. I just feel another person. And this was the biggest accomplishment for me, because my client was really happy, and was feeling different. And I truly
No,
believe
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
and I truly believe that when you as an employer, when you think that what you are doing is to transform and make a different impact in other people's life, this is just a different mindset. And you are so right, when you say that you also as a business owner, this is not just about your clients and your employees, it's also about you as a business owner, because you have to have like a big purpose. And this take me to another question, because I know also you do speaking engagements, what kind of speaking engagement you do, and how do you help like a business owner? Let's say there is one that just want to start their own business, and the other that has maybe 10 years and they own business. How can we help those two candidates, that they're like those two business owner, from your experience?
Sure. So, I speak to, I'm mostly, so far, I've been mostly speaking to entrepreneurs, so business owners, and but I'm attracted to this kind of different thing. Somebody who's just starting. I love talking to people who are just thinking about starting a
Yeah.
business, and um, I would probably I don't speak to audiences so much on business for people starting businesses, but I talk to people all the time about this. And, you
Okay.
know, I would say start with your why, just like we talked about the house cleaners, start
Mhm.
with your why. What is it that is motivating you to get into business? Write that down, right? Write that down on that piece of paper. Keep that by you, because you should feel that why in your heart. You should feel it in your bones, really, because as you know, and I know, it's hard. It's hard to start a business. It's hard to keep with a business. We used to
Yeah.
joke, we have children. Of course, raising children is super challenging, but a business is like something.
Well,
It's just it's
and
one
level.
of the yeah, it's one of the biggest commitments that anyone would have. And so developing that why and keeping that always forefront is what I would say to people who are just starting a business. Um, I do speak to entrepreneurs a lot, and the message I try to deliver to them is really to inspire them, to ignite them to begin to see their own purpose and their employees' purpose in the
Yeah.
business, and the impact that they can have in really stepping into that power and that purpose, both how that can, generate more profits, but how that can also generate more happiness
Yeah.
for them. So I'm part of a great group called the Entrepreneurs Organization. I do a lot of speaking to chapters around the world for
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
And then I've also spoken, on news channels and so forth. I've even spoken to um, retirees who are thinking about coming out of retirement to go back into business. So I'm I'm uh, I'm passionate about helping people, I think, identify what their why is and
Yeah.
how they can bring that into the world, and the importance of bringing that into the world, right? Because we all have a unique purpose for being here. And so, anyway.
Thank you so much, Stefan. This is really great conversation. And I do believe that when you know your why, and things just gets more clear because you know why you are doing something. And sometimes we lose perspective, and sometimes, days are different from everyone. And if you don't have, it's like if you don't know your why, if you don't have a strong why, you just stop doing what you are doing. You wake
Yep.
up the next day and trying to figure out why you keep doing the same thing. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it's the same. Your why is important. Why did you start this business? Why you are doing this? And also from my experience, I really find like when you are doing something to impact other people's life, to help other people, your why is completely different,
Yeah.
because you are not just doing for money or to grow your business, but you are also, oh, okay, I'm doing this because I want to inspire, because I want, to help other people. And also, Stephanie, on your like speakings engagement, what are like the questions and the challenge that you found that entrepreneur has more? Like, what are like the big question that they asked you?
hmm Well, I think, it's, I like to think of the journey, it's like this transformational journey, right? And we have these dreams that we want to move forward with, but often, I remember, I don't know if you know who Michael Gerber is, but he wrote this book called The E-Myth, which was just, for me, it was a foundational book. And when I was starting a business, it's all about how you build a business by starting and developing processes. But one thing he said in there was, as business owners, our biggest challenge is going to be ourselves, right? Every time we want to grow, we're going to have to overcome and face our demons in order for us to be able to take it to the next level. And that is what I see with so many entrepreneurs. The biggest block is us, right? You know, that's the reason that we're not
Yeah.
moving further. So it's really important to identify what those barriers are. You know, we do a thing called a lifeline. So you look at the ups and the downs of your life, and I help people look at those, the down areas, and you know, kind of really a process for forgiving that, you know, for
Mhm.
releasing that. So what is that? You know, if it's a trauma or a past relationship, and or you know, something that happened, we've all had those in our lives. What happens, we get stuck in those, and literally our body becomes programmed out of that experience. So then we have mistaken beliefs that keep us stopped, that are rooted not in who we are, not in our dreams, not in our purpose, but in that experience. So I help people understand what that is and help them let that go so that they can then continue on that journey, right? And when you're living in your why, at least for me, it evolves. Like early on, I wanted time and financial freedom. That was my big driver for many, many years. And one day I woke up and I felt like, you know, that's always, you can always grow more of that. But for the most part, I had achieved a lot of that. And now I'm looking at, you know, I'm in my 50s, and I'm looking at, okay, what's my why now? What is my different why? So it's always evolving. Um, but it's having the courage to face those fears, those barriers, and to transform them so that we can move, you know, so we can keep growing and moving forward.
That's very interesting because it's really where some of us get stuck because we think sometimes that we just need to have like one why, and
Yeah.
this why needs to be forever. Instead, your why changes because your purpose changes, your life changing, and you know your goals and the life that you're having right now will be completely different from 2, 3, or 4 years. So you really just need to keep moving into your whys and understand also all the changes so you can grow your business. And you mentioned something very interesting, Stephanie, when you says that you grow your business, if I understood well, in the dimension that you also as a person grow.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I just really, really believe that. And and that's why people hire coaches, that's why people take classes, meditate. You know, for me, I mean, my tools and my resource kit has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's different for everybody, right? But for me,
Mhm.
I use yoga, I go on walks, I meditate, I do work with coaches, I take training programs so that I can continue to elevate myself and my thinking to the highest level possible, move past those fears, align myself with others who are maybe kind of further along that journey, and I can see how they did it. And so, you know, I just really encourage people to continue to look for that rather than, okay, I'm just doing this job and I've done this job this way. I mean, our world is changing so much with AI. I mean, we are right in the midst of like an explosive change in the way we do business. And the only way to cope with that is by continuing to evolve ourselves and stay connected, and not, you know, not pull back and, you know,
Yeah.
retreat, uh, but continue to step forward into it and move ourselves along with the changes that are happening around us.
Thank you so much, Stefan. I appreciate and for you that you are listening. So I hope really you find values, you know, how you can find and keep best talents because at the end of the day, it's not just about you or your customers or your employee. It's about the whole. It's about you, your employees, your customers. If you combine everything, you truly will find the balance that you are looking for to, to find the right people to work for you, and also for you to grow your business. So, and before we close, since Stephanie mentioned that how important it is so for you to find the retreat. And Stefan, I know you are planning a retreat. I don't know if it just already happened or if it still will happen. Would you like to tell more about that? I know it's a retreat
Sure.
for, you know, business owners, but also for someone looking for different goals in their life. But better ask yourself. Tell me more.
No, yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. Yeah, folks can go to my website, stephaniecamarillo.com, and I'm doing a retreat in Italy in the fall. I hope to do it annually in a beautiful village in Tuscany. This particular retreat will be for women entrepreneurs, and I'm going to help them understand that transformational journey that we talked about, introduce folks to different resources and some of the top people in the world that teach breath work, mindfulness, gratitude, journaling. And we're going to do this within the most beautiful place. And I've traveled a lot, but I believe one of the most beautiful places in the world with the best food. So I'd love it if you could join us, Selma, or if any of your listeners will. And stay tuned. I hope to be able. My why is to be able to deliver other retreats in Mexico. I'm talking with somebody about doing one potentially in Uganda. So anyway, can't wait to talk with you more about that.
Oh, thank you so much, Steph. Thank you for sharing. This is very special. Thank you so much. And for you at home, thank you so much for listening. I just, I'm so grateful that you are here. You took the time. And to learn more about Stefania and also the retreat, so you can go to Stefania website. You will find all Stefania Camarillo information below here on the channel, so you can connect and learn more. And also, I'm a coach, so I help people to take bold action if taking action is one of your challenge, and also how to empower yourself. You will find also the information below here on my channel. And please share our channel and subscribe. And thank you again for taking the time for yourself to grow. And we are so grateful that you are here. For more information, you can also go to my website, selmajacintodominguez.com, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much, my friend, and take care. Thank you so much, Stefania. Thank you.
Thank you, Selma. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.